Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and welcome to Small Biz Chat Live. Here on Small Biz Chat Live, it is our goal to help you succeed as your own boss, and we never fail to disappoint. So listen, I've got three amazing live guests with me tonight. We have the amazing Vanessa Lindley. She's going to be talking to us about how to get your money straight. We're going to be talking to Sean McCool, and he's going to be talking about how to go from traffic to conversions, right? Because it's all about making that money. We're also going to be talking to Kim Plyler, and she is going to give us the skinny on how to master your brand story. And that's really important because anybody can start a business, but not everybody has a brand. And she's going to talk to you about how to get your story right so that when you're selling yourself as much as you're selling your product or service. Now, for more than 10 years, I've hosted Small Biz Chat live on Twitter every Wednesday night, but once a month we bring it to you as a live video show. And I'm so excited to be here with you all tonight because the goal and the mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure. Now, tonight we are broadcasting live from my Small Biz Lady Facebook page. We are streaming it for you live on Twitter, and you can check this out also on YouTube. And if they ever give me LinkedIn Live, I'll bring it to you on LinkedIn too, but that's all right. I'm not hating. Anyway, so listen, I am so excited to have you all here with us tonight because our goal with Small Biz Chat Live is to give our loyal Small Biz Chat audience an opportunity to hear advice and not just read it. And so we have multiple angles here tonight to help you take your small business to the next level. So now with that, I am really excited to introduce my very first guest, Miss Vanessa Lindley, who is a good friend of mine. And she is the CEO of Lindley Consulting Group, LLC, a professional and personal development consultancy. Vanessa is a transformative thought leader and financial coach, author, consultant, and trainer with 25 plus years experience. Vanessa, you don't look old enough to have nobody's 25 years experience. Anyway, her latest book is Achieve Financial Victory, 7 Ways to Win with Your Money. It's available now, and I'm so excited, Vanessa, to have you here with me.
I am excited to be here, Melinda. I am so excited. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I had to have you because listen, money is serious business, right? I believe it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. So I want to talk about, the connection that people have. I think people have a money mindset, right? And so that manifests itself in their personal finances and their business finances. So can you help us like kind of understand the connection that sort of like that money mindset and how that manifests itself everywhere where you have to deal with your money, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I find that working with people, when they have challenges in their personal finances, sometimes it matches the challenges they have in their business finances. And most of it is because people don't pay attention to their money. I mean, most people, they don't like math. That's one part. It just gets into it. But then their mindset around money, keeping it, saving it, holding on to it. I see that people, they don't like to set a budget at home. And sometimes they don't like to set a budget with their business. They're just, trying to make money. They're trying to make money, but not looking at the numbers. And I mean, I when I work with a person on their personal finance, I share a story. I was working with someone who could not understand where their money was going. I mean, I sat down, I said, let's think about every bill you have, every dollar that's coming in. And she could not account for $1,000 a month. This is in her personal finances. Same thing working with a business client. They did the same thing in their money, in their business finances, and started to look through how much they were spending on, products and services. It was a restaurant owner. And just by looking at the numbers, was able to cut back expenses and save $1,000 on their business finances. People are not taking the time to do the math and pay attention. So I see that the mindset around, being afraid to engage with money, being too busy, and it does transfer from your personal to your business finances. Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that I see very commonly with small business folks is they don't even call their accountant until it's tax time. They're not even engaging with their business finances on a monthly basis. So when they get their taxes done, it's a surprise whether or not they made money or lost money. And I see that a lot. And I just don't, I don't know why we do that. I don't know why. I mean, because your accountant should really be a business advisor to your business, wouldn't you say?
And people, they pay their accountant a lot of times, CPA. It's another bill that they have, but never really engage with them that way. And sometimes it's, again, the avoidance. It's not really wanting to deal with it. And it's just like I said, it's in your personal finances. People don't want to deal with it. They wait until a crisis happens or a bill is due, and they're like, oh, where's my money? And, people do. They rob Peter to pay Paul in their personal finances, and business owners sometimes are doing the same thing. And I don't know why they don't do it, but it's the same. People in their personal finance, they need people like me, financial coach, people in their business finances. They have people on their team that they can use, and they don't use them because they're afraid a lot of times. They either don't want to spend the time or they're afraid of what they're going to see. America's in debt. And a lot of it is, again, being unconscious about what they're spending their money on. Same thing happens in their business. Again, people are focusing on revenue generation, looking at how many sales they can get, but they're not looking at how much they're spending for goods and services. They're not looking at, how much they're actually paying their employees and what tax benefits they could get or could not get. They're not looking at rents going up. They're not doing the math. They're just trying to get through the day and get through the month. And it happens in their personal finances as well as their business finances. And I'm sure you see it.
Oh, I definitely see it. But I also think it starts with the fact that a lot of people are confused about what is wealth and how do you build it?
Whew. So I write about that in my book because people, they don't really know what wealth is. Wealth is really accumulation of assets. It is not income. I mean, again, I know you work with business owners. They have good annual revenues. So they could be 7-figure businesses, but they're not necessarily in the black. They don't necessarily have assets. Same thing with people who are employees. They have a good income on paper, but they're not accumulating assets, which is what will generate wealth. You want to be in the black. And accounting principle is you have to own more than you owe to be in the black. And so in order to do that, you got to have a low debt load, and you have to be generating revenues and or assets if you're a business owner or a homeowner or a real estate owner. And so wealth is that, assets. It could be cash, stocks, bonds, different types of investments, real estate, business ownership, property ownership. And I want, and I write in my book, people to be able to build wealth in multiple ways. And again, it could be, if you are running a business, buy the building that you own, that you're doing your business out of. That becomes an asset. That's how you start to build wealth. If you're an employee, you can still buy real estate if that's your thing, or you can invest in stocks and bonds, and business owners as well. I do work with business owners on their personal finance, because when you start making money, we hope that everybody gets there, that they actually have that gap between what they're bringing in and what they can actually keep. Start to put that into other investment streams like stocks and bonds and real estate, etc. But wealth, again, it's accumulation of assets, and that can be in multiple forms. But it is not just the revenue; it is what you actually keep and invest and grows.
All right, so let's talk about budgeting. It's the fall. This is the time of year when I tell people, look, hey, 2020 is coming quickly. It's time for you to be putting together your budget for next year. It's already like fourth quarter. So how do you explain to people, and how often do you think business owners in particular should be looking at the budgeting process? Like, how often should you be going to that?
Well, actually, the business owners, excuse me, they should be doing their revenue projections for, at least 5 years out. And that includes, some budgeting process as well. And I tell people in their personal finances to do the same thing. You should be starting with the end in mind. Same thing with business owners. You should be planning your exit strategy when you first open your business. Same thing. People don't like it in your personal finance. You should be planning your death. I'm sorry, I came from the investment world and insurance world, but then work your way back, 10 years, 5 years, and then annually. As in personal finance, there are things that happen every year that people don't plan for, like summer vacation, or if you have children, back to school, or holidays, or whatever it is important to you. Business owners, the same way. Some businesses are seasonal. So, there's certain times of the year where you're going to spend more than you're making, possibly, or your revenue might be lower or higher. But how do you plan? You should be planning at least, at a minimum a year out. And then you should be checking it at least every month. You want to try and do some reconciliation. And then depending on the type of business you have, you can do it daily. So, I went to the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, and people in my cohort, I have a salon owner. I mean, she's doing it every day. And she's looking at how much I got in, what did I spend every single day. So I think at a minimum, people should be, reconciling their budget every month and looking at their, budget at least once a week. And that's business and personal, in my opinion.
Now, how important is it to keep personal and business finances separate?
Woo! So we know as a startup, a lot of times people are mixing. I mean, it's just a part of, trying to get the stuff off the ground. Unless you did a huge startup where you got funding and you were able to really knock it out the park, where you don't really have to touch your own personal finances, that would be ideal, right? If you're able to get some funding, investors, even if you get a loan, and leave it totally separate. I mean, ideally, that should be always the goal, to not to commingle your money for many reasons. One, you get lost in, what you're really making. You're not looking at the numbers fluidly, realistically, sorry. So you're looking at, you're putting money into the business consistently and not really reconciling, unless you're doing like a formal loan, like I'm making a loan to my business. But when you have the accounts mixed up and, you're not sure whether you're really, making money in the business, or this is your personal money, or not paying yourself, you should be able to quantify how much revenue is going in, how much is going out. And if you're short and you have to take from your personal money, you should be recording that and saying, I'm giving myself a loan. So in the beginning, obviously, when you're looking at starting up and you're looking at loans, people are going to look, financiers, whether it be a bank or an investor, they're going to be looking at your personal finances. But when you legitimately start up, you should be having your personal and business finances separate. Absolutely.
All right. So this is the last question I'm going to get to you before the break. Does your business need an emergency fund?
Oh, I mean, we all as business owners, we know that would be ideal.
Be like a hell yes.
Look, everybody's putting their thumbs up. Because, I mean, again, working with business owners, we know a lot of us try to rely on a line of credit, and I work with business owners, that line of credit is down to the end. You're waiting for that revenue. You're waiting for that invoice to get paid, and you need emergency fund. Everybody in your household, in your business, you need that stash of cash somewhere that you can pull it, because even when you're maxed out from your line of credits and all of that, you need to have that money available. So yes, that's a hell yeah.
All right, Vanessa. Well, I'm going to put a pin in that. Thank you so much. But when we come back, we're going to talk about how to get rid of debt, because it's real out here, okay? So I'm Melinda Emerson. You are watching Small Biz Chat Live. Please don't go away, because we will be right back. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I know you might be thinking about quitting your business and going back into corporate America, but wait, before you give up, my new book, Fix Your Business, could give you a whole new lease on life. My 12 P's of running a successful business will walk you through step by step how to grow your business revenue, how to hire great people and streamline your processes, and so much more. Grab a copy today of Fix Your Business and get your life back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, America's #1 small business expert. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight, because we are talking about money, the money. And my good friend, Vanessa Lindley, is here. She is a money coach. She's got a great new book out on 7 ways to win with your money. And so I am really excited to talk to her about the all-important topic, debt. All right, Ms. Vanessa, break it down for us. What are the 3 reasons why people are in debt, and what are the 3 ways to get out of it?
3 reasons why people are in debt. Typically, 1, not having and or not sticking to a budget. I mean, the budget is a B word, but it's not a bad word. And people just don't like to do it. They don't like to deal with it, and they have to do it. Again, this is personal or business. You have to have a plan on how you're going to spend your money. What's coming in, what's going out. As a business owner, that's how you plan your revenue, and you also plan your expenses, and you prepare for the unknown. We just talked about the importance of having emergency savings. People, that's the second reason. People don't have emergency savings, so they end up overspending. If you don't have a budget, you don't plan, you don't know where money is going, you end up overspending, you get in debt. That's one. Two, you don't have an emergency savings. So crisis can happen. We're business owners. Sometimes we have clients that we're invoicing. The invoice could be late. I mean, I know business owners are waiting for, 6-figure, 7-figure invoices to be paid, and you don't have that emergency fund. So what ends up happening? You end up borrowing more. So that's the second reason. One, not having a budget and not sticking to it. Two, not having emergency savings. And again, that's for home or business. And three, not even understanding how much debt you can afford, because some lenders are going to keep giving you debt. They're going to keep giving you loans, and then you end up overextended. Especially in personal finance. You can go to any store, any place that sells things, they will give you credit. Now online, you can get credit through Amazon, PayPal, the clothing store, anything, anywhere you go, people are going to give you credit, and you don't know how much you can actually afford. So people are being way overextended because they have access to all this credit. And so what they end up doing is spending it, going back to number one, because they haven't planned their spending. So now they have access to all this opportunity to spend, and they end up in debt. So the top three reasons I find, again, is that no budget, no emergency savings,
right. So
and not really understanding it.
How do we fix it?
3 easy ways. I'm going to say 3 in a caveat. 1, we have the snowball method. 2, we have the avalanche method. 3, we have the snowflake method. And it's all snow, but the snowball method, you arrange your debt from the smallest balance and you pay it off first from the smallest to the largest. Then keep paying it down, taking it down. So the payment from the smallest, when you pay that off, it goes to the next, and like a snowball, it gets rid of debt. The avalanche, you start with the highest interest rate, and it just avalanches down to the smallest one. And you keep taking that big payment, put it on to the next one, the next one. The snowflake is for people who get that extra little money here and there, and you just sprinkle it on your debt. So you get a bonus, you get an unexpected client that was not in your budget. You take that extra money, put it on debt, and just knock it out. But the biggest thing is going back to planning your money and having that budget.
All right, Miss Vanessa, we're almost out of time. Tell me, what is the best business finance advice you can give a business owner right now?
Get help. You said it. You need to go see your CPA, meet with your financial coach, get help, get a plan, look at those numbers, plan it out, and get help. Do not try to do it on your own. That's the best advice I can give you.
All right, you guys heard it here. Miss Vanessa Lindley, she is the finance coach and the author of Achieve Financial Victory, 7 Ways to Win with Your Money. Check it out. Listen, when we come back, we are going to start talking about how to turn your number one business asset, your website, into cash. Sean McCool is going to be with us, and we're going to be talking about conversions. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. You're watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back.
My new book, Fix Your Business, is really about encouraging people to take back control of their business and change how their businesses is run. It's not okay to skip paychecks. It's not okay to never feel like you can take a vacation. And it's also not okay to not know how much profit you've made in your business until your taxes are done. I really want business owners to stop letting their businesses be runaway trains. I've written this book to teach people processes and systems to help them run their businesses intentionally. My goal is to help existing entrepreneurs create a business that allows them to live their dream life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. Now we're going to be switching gears a little bit and talking about traffic and how to turn your traffic into conversions to grow your small business. And we're going to be talking right now with digital strategist Sean McCool, and he is a terrific expert. But before we go to him, I just want to remind everybody we are streaming live everywhere. We're streaming live on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Please give us a comment. Please share this broadcast. We want more people to get this information so they can take their business to the next level. And don't forget to check out the Small Biz Chat podcast. I now have all of these great interviews, other places where you can hear them on the internet. So don't forget to check us out. And I know we love our Twitter peeps, so special love out to my Twitter people. Love y'all for real. All right. Now back to my guest. It's time for us to talk about making big money with your website, which is why I invited my guest Sean McCool to join us here on Small Biz Chat Live. Sean is the founder of Sean McCool Consulting. He has more than 3 decades of experience creating sales and marketing campaigns that convert. He brings his award-winning sales and copywriting background into the corporate digital marketing arena, and he advises companies big and small on how to implement high-performing, conversion-based digital marketing strategies and tactics. I dare any of you guys to say that 10 times fast. Anyway, Sean McCool, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a little nervous about following Vanessa. That's a tough act to follow. So
yeah,
I'll do my best.
Fair Straight program, right? She's like,
I'm
budget.
telling you.
She said, budget's not a bad B word. Did you hear her? She's like,
yeah.
Anyway,
so I'm hoping I can help people make money where she helps them keep and grow it, right?
Exactly. You're
all right.
My theme here. You figured out how I segmented you guys so that you would follow one another, right?
Let's do it.
So let's talk about generating money online. Like, what is the best way to do that? Because that's what everybody's trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge question, right? How you generate money online. I mean, it's like you said, it's the question everybody wants to know. And there's so many facets to it. I think we could probably start breaking it down a little bit. So, I mean, really, there's only 3 ways. There's only 3 components to any marketing campaign. So no matter, and it doesn't matter if it's online or offline, to be honest. So, and those 3 parts of that, those 3 components, excuse me, I'm stumbling all over myself. Those 3 components are the copy. So that's your marketing message, your offer. That's what you're trying to get people to do or take action on. And then the audience, that's where the traffic is coming from. So those are kind of the big 3 pieces. So we can dive into those individually if you want, real quick.
Absolutely. Hit it for me. Yes.
All right. So let's start with copy, because that may be a weird word to some people. So copy is simply the words you use in your marketing campaigns. I don't care if it's a sales presentation, a brochure, your website, anything you use, a podcast. Like, if your copy is kind of the words behind your marketing, right? And the more structured it is, that's why we call it copywriting. It's just a word. But here, I'm about to drop a bomb. You ready for this, Melinda?
I'm ready.
All right. Everybody, if we use the English language, all we get is 26 letters and 10 numbers to make our marketing statement, right? Now, the magic is how we arrange those letters into words, into sentences, into paragraphs, into what we're talking about and the offers we're making to people. So we've all got the same raw materials to work with. The question is, how are we going to use them to make people offers? And that's the second part of any campaign, is the offer. So the offer is, what do you want your reader or viewer or listener to do next, right? So I teach my clients to think of an offer as an invitation. Like, you're not telling people what to do. You're inviting them into your world. And you need to respect that, because these are real people with real problems, and you've got real solutions that can help them. So you want to honor that relationship. You want to pay respect to that relationship. So make it an invitation and not a telling them what to do. We all hate those kind of used car salesmen screaming at you to come down to their lot instead of inviting you into their world.
Right.
And then the final piece of that is the audience. And this is, some people call it traffic. Some people call it the list, if you're talking about an email list. But to me, it's just an audience. It's who are you broadcasting your message to in whatever format. And one thing you need to understand about the audience is your audience has built-in desires you're never going to be able to create desire in your audience. What you have to do instead is you have to tap into the desire that they already have and make your offer match the existing desire. So that's the big 3 parts of any marketing campaign.
So those are the 3 components,
Mm-hmm.
but writing copy that converts can really be a challenge for people. I know myself, I write a blog for you, I'll write a book for you, but writing sales copy, like a sales email, is like, I don't feel like I have those skills as a mere mortal. So can you tell us about, like, if you're getting started writing some sales emails and stuff, what are some tips you can give people?
Yeah. So one of my tips is always use templates or swipe files. Some people call them swipe files. Some people call them templates. Basically, it's starting with something. So you're not just staring at a blank page, because that blank page, especially when you think you're supposed to be selling something. Also, like I said before, like when you think of it as an invitation instead of trying to get them to do something, it really takes a lot of pressure off. It's like, hey, this is what we got. If you like it, here it is. So first of all, just kind of think about making it more of an invitation. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, then use templates, use swipe files. So imagine going to the gym, and you go to the gym with a workout, like a planned out, here's what I'm gonna do first, set 1, set 2, set 3, this exercise, this many reps, things like that. That's not the whole workout, but it's the outline of the workout that you're going to be doing. You still got to put in the work. You still got to lift the weights and all that. Having a template or a swipe file is the same way. It gives you an outline to start with so that you know where you're going and you're not wasting a bunch of time staring at blank pages. So I've got 3 different types of templates that I like to give my clients, that my clients like to work with. And I'd love to go through those with you.
Sure. Give us just the snippet, right? I need the Cliff Notes version.
Right. So the first type is what I call a short story narrative. So think of a short story, a 3-act play, something like that. An example might be, and I'll give you 3 quick bullet points on that. So this is a problem our clients have. We help them define it like this. We help them solve it like this. So if you just start with those 3 bullet points on your blank document, and then you start filling in, you'll have a pretty good email or sales, piece of sales material that you could send out to people, because you're just walking people through the process. So that's one. I call it a short story narrative. Number 2 is what I call one of the 3 R's. Now, Melinda, you're world class at this. Like, you're doing this all the time, and that is to reformat other content. So I know you like to take a lot of your stuff and then put it into a blog and add some stuff here and there, but you're basically just reformatting some other stuff. That's a great way to do it. And a lot of people are like, well, Sean, that's content, that's not sales. But I think, my personal opinion, and some of the direct response, like diehards would probably, hang me out to dry for this, but I think content and sales copy are blurring every day. And I think the most effective sales copy is a lot more like content, and the best content is a lot more like sales copy. Like, it's really coming together, because it needs to provide value. It needs to provide information, proof, a lot of different things. Okay. And then the final thing is what I call a persuasion map. Again, this is just it's kind of like if you had a map of the if you're going on a hike and you wanted an overlay of the trail. It's not the trail itself, but it kind of gives you you know which way to turn and about when to turn. Mm-hmm. So the persuasion map that I like to use that's stood the test of time is called PAS, problem, agitate, solution. So you present the problem your prospect feels, that's the problem. Then you agitate that problem a little bit. You kind of poke at the problem until they can really feel it. Remind them of kind of what that feels like. And then you present your solution to that agitation. And if you do that well, they'll take whatever solution you've got.
So you got to poke the pain a little bit. And
got to poke it, yeah. Got to poke the bear.
Right, you got to poke the pain and say, but wait, I can help. Yeah. Right? That's how you do it, right?
Absolutely.
So listen, I want to ask you one more question before we go to break. What are some of the best ways to track conversions? Because I know everybody's like, and what is a conversion, right? Because that's part of it too. You have to define what conversions even are. Yeah,
so that's again, it's a big question, and as our online worlds and offline worlds and social media and websites and everything starts entangling, like these questions get deeper and deeper and bigger. But basically, I would say, to me, a conversion is anything where you can get your client to intentionally take the next step. Now, that might be just to comment on a blog post. That might be to retweet a Twitter tweet. That's hard to say. To comment on a Facebook post, to reply to an email, to click a link in an email. Like there's literally dozens and dozens of conversion actions, and you need to be clear about what you want to track. First of all, it's not always a sale. Sometimes you just need to move people further down the relationship so that a sale could be made later. It doesn't have to be made day one. Mm-hmm. And then, so some of the tools that are available, and there's lots of tools, but for instance, there's tools like, if you want to go high end, there's tools like Wicked Reports that can literally track your social media post, your YouTube channel, like just anything you want to dump in there. They can track all of that social organic engagement along with your sales engagement. And you can really get a good picture of over time where you might think that a sales letter is doing all the work, but actually it's this little organic video you've got going over here.
Okay.
That is getting people interested enough to start reading your sales letter. So finding those types of tools are really good for tracking conversions. And sometimes you just need a very basic Excel spreadsheet to track your email and open rates and see, hey, that one's really not doing well in the follow-up sequence. I should probably change the subject line because nobody's opening that one, but they're opening the one before and after it. So there's a lot of ways to do that. And it's really just kind of start thinking about common sense and then looking for good tools.
All right. Well, I'm going to put a pin in that. When we come back, we're going to talk even more about this and about some sales funnels too. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. You're watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we will be right back. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I want to invite you to enter the Small Biz Chat podcast giveaway contest. For the next 30 days, starting today, you'll have the chance to win amazing prizes if you subscribe to the podcast. All you need to do is take a screenshot after you subscribe to the Small Biz Chat podcast and tag me, Small Biz Lady, on Twitter or Instagram. Once a week, I'll select a winner, and you have a chance to win one of my autographed books, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, or Fix Your Business, or you might even get a chance to win one of my limited edition Small Biz Chat podcast t-shirts. Don't delay. Subscribe to the Small Biz Chat podcast today. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and you are watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we are live with my guest, Sean McCool, and he's talking to us about traffic and conversions and everything in between. So let's get right back to him. Sean, tell me about, how do you develop irresistible headlines? That's like the hardest thing for me. I'll write a great article and I'll struggle with what to call it to get people to click on it to open it. Can you give us a little bit of tips on that?
Yeah, I can give you. So again, I go back to kind of swipe files and templates. I'll give you what I call my aisle 9 secret. So the aisle 9 secret is, in most grocery stores now, there's a magazine aisle. And if you go down, like physical magazines, remember those? They still exist. They're not like Bigfoot. They actually do still exist. And if you go down and look at the magazine covers, they'll have the blurbs on there. And you can look both in your industry and then outside your industry. And those headline blurbs that are on the covers of magazines are written by some of the world's best copywriters. So you grab 3, 4, 5 of those magazines, both in your niche and outside of your niche, to get some ideas. So you might see one that says, 13 ways to lose 50 pounds this summer. So what you do is you start thinking about, based on your product or your service, what numbers would I need to change? What's the big goal that my clients want? And I start playing with that formula, X ways to lose or to get X result with, in Y time, something like that. So you just kind of use those as starters. And again, it's so much easier when you have something to work with instead of trying to stare at a blank page and just stare at it. So what I do is I have magazines. I actually subscribe to them and have them come to the house, and I will read the magazines, but then what I'll do is every month I'll tear off the cover and I put them in a file folder in a file cabinet. And I know that's old school. But then when I'm ready to write, I'll just lay a couple of them out. I'll look at them on the desk and I'll kind of rearrange, pick some stuff, and voila, that's as good a way as any to get a really good headline.
I like that. Now, tell me about sales funnels. I know that, once you get this customer, once you get somebody to give you their email address, what should you be doing to sort of like nurture the relationship with them?
Yeah. So that's a great question. So if it's a sales funnel where you've given them something like an opt-in or a free report or something like that to get them to give you the email, then what I would encourage you to do is the first 2, 3, 4, maybe up to 5 emails, depending on what kind of report they got or video they got, or maybe you send them a podcast episode, is I would help them consume that information. And then I would help them take action on that information so that they're actually getting value from the free thing that you gave them in exchange for the email. Then you've earned the right to sell them the next thing. But honestly, you don't have the right, in my opinion, to try to sell them something else if what they got didn't even really help them. Mm-hmm. And that could be on them and it could be on you. But as people who provide a service, whether that's a product or a service, we have a responsibility to our people to serve them. And part of service is making sure they take action, even in spite of themselves sometimes. So the first thing I would do is try to get them to consume and walk them through whatever it is they signed up for.
Got it. So now, what if I want to hire a professional copywriter to develop a sales funnel for me, and they do, and then my sales funnel doesn't convert?
Yeah.
What kind of, is there a money back guarantee in your industry? How do I resolve this? Because I've actually had this experience in my own business several times, but I think sometimes there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out here in every industry. And so I kind of wanted to know, what are the right questions and things you should be asking someone even before you engage them, so that maybe, certainly everything everybody writes doesn't convert, right? But how do you kind of test things a little bit better so that you don't get completely burned?
Yeah. So first thing I would say, from the copywriter side, is that copywriting is a lot like anything else, sales, baseball. You're probably going to get 1 out of 3 to get a base hit, and probably 1 out of 5, maybe worse, is going to be like a home run. Like, it takes work to get these, and it's investment just like anything else. Now, I'm not supposed to say that as a copywriter. I'm supposed to say that like everything, is amazing, and we just put these fancy formulas together and poof, you're a $50 million company and all that. But that's not how it works. Like, it takes effort. So right. I think the number one thing is to find a copywriter that you can see some samples from, that you have a good relationship with. They don't just take an order from you to write something. They ask you a lot of questions back. They push back a little bit, and they really dig in and ask good questions about your product, maybe questions that you've never thought to ask. That's a really good sign. Mm-hmm. If they can start tomorrow, that's probably not a good sign. Just like a construction contractor, you don't want the guy that can start tomorrow. There's a reason he can start tomorrow, because he doesn't have work. Most of the good copywriters will be booked out, several weeks, if not several months in advance.
Okay. And
so just set really clear expectations. Ask the question, hey, do you offer a money back guarantee? Most of them will not, because it is a lot of work to write a piece of sales copy, depending on what it is. Mm-hmm. But you can set expectations on what you would like to have happen. And if they agree or don't agree, then, just set clear expectations like any other relationship.
Okay. I think that's more than fair. Listen, Sean, I really, really appreciate your valuable advice and time. Don't go anywhere, because we've got one more guest, and then we're going to bring all 3 of you guys back. So I can't wait to get you guys all together. But you are watching Small Biz Chat Live, and we are going to be right back.
Are you tired of struggling in your business, not taking a paycheck, dreading dealing with your business in the morning? Are you regretting even starting your business in the first place? Well, I know you're tired, and I also remember what that kind of tired is like. But the good news is, it's time to stop feeling that way. Stop! I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and my new book, Fix Your Business, is a 90-day turnaround plan to get back your life and reduce chaos in your business. I've been in business nearly 20 years, and let me teach you how to build a business that works for you. Grab a copy today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and you are watching Small Biz Chat Live. And now I have my guest, Kim Plyler, with us, and she is terrific. She is going to be talking to us about how to master your story, as in your brand story. So she is the CEO of Shawcom Inc., and it's a creative communications and public relations firm. She's a renowned public speaker and author of Master Your Story, It Matters. Kim uses her platform to encourage individuals and brands to find their story and share their stories. Kim is a storyteller at heart, and from her education in theater to speech writing for admirals in the U.S. Navy, she's traveled the world and heard a lot of great stories, and she can help you craft yours as well. Kim, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Oh, Melinda, thank you so much. I am so thrilled to be here. I have waited to have a chance to talk with you, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to your audience, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well, Kim, let's jump right in, because
I'm ready.
I know that you also have the Master Your Story podcast too, so we're going to get to that too. But tell me, why is it important for small businesses to understand their company narrative?
The biggest word is authenticity. They need to know what their company narrative is so that they come across authentic, trustworthy, and believable. So authenticity would be my word for that.
All right. Well, then, can you teach any business owner how to leverage their story to reach their customers?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that comes up to us, business owner, person in transition or anything, it's really about learning who you are at the core, or who your company and what your company does at its core, and then learning how to bring that into a story that reaches the audience that you want to reach. So anybody could come in. We have a cool process that we go through with them step by step, and we learn about you. We learn about what's going on inside your heart, because that's important, because whether you're a business owner or a personal speaker or whatever, your heart is what really needs to show through.
That's true, because people connect to people that they like, know, and trust, right? And that trust comes from that authentic story, for sure. Mm-hmm. So how do you handle, like, if somebody comes to you and they don't really have a handle on what their story is? Like, how do you help people that, like, yeah, you know, they kind of have been doing a little bit of imposter syndrome out here. Like, they kind of, you know, they started taking somebody else's story and making it their story because they didn't really have a story. How do you work with people that come to you?
That's interesting, Melinda, because I just had one of those walk in the last week. So I just have experience that I could share. I won't say the name, but you know, people come to us a lot of times, and it's they don't know who they are and what they want to do. And they could be anywhere from age 22 to 82, or a company that's just starting or needs to rebrand because what they did in the past is no longer working. So to us, what we do is we take a deep, in-depth look with them. We go through a what is conversation with them. We make them look internally. And sometimes it happens in a couple weeks. Sometimes it could take 18 months till we get to the point where they really learn what their platform is and what their narrative is for themselves or their company. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of research too. So a lot of research and helping them understand and opening them up and teaching them.
Okay, so once you have this brand story, how do you kind of use it to connect with people?
That's really good, because depending on the brand, you're going to want to identify your audience first. And a lot of times your brand will fit in certain audiences and not in others. So we do an analysis of, and it kind of ties into what Sean was talking about, the sales part of the whole content and narrative and stuff. And we find out where that target is, and then we take you into that market scene.
All right. So how can you leverage a business failure story to reach your target audience? Because sometimes, you know, people's pride sometimes will keep them from telling the truth about what really went down, right? You know.
Oh yeah.
And I just wonder sometimes. I mean, I can remember even when I was first working on my book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months. You know, I wasn't $1 million business at that point, and I remember people saying, well, you haven't grossed $1 million in revenue, nobody's going to want to listen to you. And I let that story play in my head for 3 years before I picked my book back up and started writing it. And Lord, can you imagine if I had never done it? Right. So I
Yeah.
think that how can you kind of turn a failure story into like your signature story to reach people?
Well, Melinda, I think that's the best place to learn when you do fail, because that's when you start to look internally and you start to see really what you are. And most of the times we're our own worst enemies. We talk in our heads and we get this negative head talk going on, and it prevents us from moving forward. So when you fall, when you have a bad business crash, or your business tanks because you didn't have a good budget and you weren't prepared, I think I heard that today, and you go through all that stuff, but it's during those times that the true character of yourself comes out. So it's a lot of self-look or self-company looking at themselves, and learning to come to terms with, okay, it's okay to fail, because in failure, we learn success. And it gives us the next step that we need to take in order to get to that next level of business or spiritual growth or whatever it is that you're working on. So to me, it's all about realizing mistakes are they're mistakes. So take the take away, get up and dust yourself off and start all over again. And don't give up. To me, the strongest thing about that is grit, having that grit to constantly move forward, to know that your purpose is important and you're here for a reason, and your story is important, because if you share it, it's bound to help somebody that's hearing it.
That's definitely true. Now, tell me about one trend that you see in your field of communications that could benefit small businesses.
This right here, what we're doing tonight, these Zoom kind of calls, the interconnections with everybody. You could be talking to somebody in India, Africa, wherever. We're in Philly. I'm just right outside of Philly, so yay, Philly. Anyway, so, we're talking with people from all around the world. So having the internet and having features like Zoom and webinars and things like that, to me, is really leveling the playing field between a small business and a huge corporation, because you can be out here doing this just like a big corporation can too. So I think it levels the playing field, and having this is a really benefit to all small businesses. So I recommend the interconnectivity of like Zoom and internet use.
Okay, I completely agree with you. Now, if a small business is ready to refresh their brand story, where should they start?
They should start by, first of all, all this talk tonight about looking internal, see what you're thinking and what you're feeling to get to that next level. At this point, if you're a company and you're ready to refurbish your brand, or you need a freshen up, this is when you look external. Conduct focus groups, reach out to people around you, previous customers, see why they're not still current customers, and really take a hard look. Bring a team in to peel the onion back, for lack of a better term, and look at what's going on with your business and listen. And that's the key thing, Melinda. People have to listen. Take the time to hear those things. And it's not always going to be comfortable. But if you could take the time to listen to what's going on around, and that's one way you start to say, okay, we envisioned our brand this way, but we're being perceived a whole different way. We need to make an adjustment. And so it's looking outward and listening to what you hear.
All right, last question. What's the best marketing advice you could give a startup business right now?
Budget. Even though it's marketing advice, I go back to the budget, Vanessa. It always starts there, because budget, heart, passion, and grit. I think those are the things you really, really need to have to get your business up off the ground. If you have something that's inside of you and it's coming out as a business, it has to be funded. It has to be supported. To be out there and just touting your business without anything behind it is kind of a falsehood. So I believe in getting your budget started, your internal mission, your vision, your story, and go out the door.
I could not agree with you more. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you, Melinda.
You have really succinctly broken it down for us about what we need to do to get our story together, so that whether we're transitioning personally, running a business, or reinventing a business, it all starts with mastering your story. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And don't go anywhere, because right now what I'm going to do is bring our other two guests back in so that all four of us can talk now. And we're going to do something that I call Hit It and Quit It. So it is basically, let me tell you how this works. So first of all, let me invite back Vanessa Lindley and Sean McCool. They're gonna come back and be with us. And basically what's gonna happen is all of you guys are gonna be on a panel, and I'm gonna ask each of you the exact same question. Now, I only have one rule, and that is you got to be talking in 30 seconds or less, and you cannot repeat the answer of someone else. Okay. Because if you do, I'm going to give you the hook. All right. So I don't want to do that. So I want everybody to play by my rules. Okay. Can everybody do that? All right. We can all do that.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So since Vanessa, you have been resting the longest, we're going to come to you, and then next we're going to go to Sean, and then we're going to go to Kim last, and she was the last one to speak. So get ready. 30 seconds on the clock, please. All right, here we go. Vanessa, what is your favorite business app? What is your favorite one?
Oh, probably QuickBooks. So I can send my invoices and get paid and watch it all the time.
QuickBooks.
Honestly, QuickBooks.
Okay, I'll take that. I can understand as the money coach why you are talking about QuickBooks. Look, whatever your accounting software is, you need to be checking it, and you need to be able to reach it through your phone. So I completely agree with that. All right, Sean, what about you? What is your favorite business app?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rev, R-E-V. It's a transcribing service. One thing that most people don't know about it is the app on your phone, you can actually record an audio, like while you're driving, you got an idea, or you're walking the dog, and then that can just immediately be transcribed. It's a great way to do quick blog posts, things like that. So Rev.
I've used Rev before, and I really, really like Rev. So that's actually a really good one. Kim, what do you got for me? What is your favorite business app?
My favorite business app, in addition to Rev, because I'm not allowed to repeat it, is Cision, and it's an outreach. So we use it every day, reaching out to media outlets around the world, and it also tracks your marketing and does a lot of great work for you. So I highly recommend Cision, and the team over there is absolutely wonderful.
Okay, all right. I'm familiar with Cision, and so that is actually a very good tool if you want to get yourself out there in the media for sure. All right, terrific. Sean, this next one is coming to you, my friend. What is your favorite old school marketing tip? We're going to go from you to Kim to Vanessa this time.
Wow, old school marketing tip.
Old school.
Man, I kind of gave away my best one with looking at the magazine covers, but it's probably a swipe file, and to collect, like if you're flying on the plane and you got Sky Mall magazine, you see a good ad in there, rip it out. If you've got, or take a screenshot of it with your phone, take a picture with your phone, save it in the notes. That's just a swipe file is by far the best thing you could be doing.
I'm a big fan of swipe files. I believe that success leaves clues everywhere. So rather than trying to figure it out, copy somebody else's great idea. That's for sure. Or should I say improve upon
it? Yes.
Great idea. All right, Kim, what is your favorite old school marketing tip?
Wake up and get the day's media tips and what's going on in the news. Instead of just, zipping on the computer and everything, get clips and actually read the paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I actually subscribe to the New York Times, and they send me sort of like the New York Times daily brief thing, so I can kind of skim it and figure out what thing I want to click on and actually read it. So I am a fan of reading newspapers too. So I can concur with you on that one. All right, Miss Vanessa, what's your favorite old school marketing tip?
I'm a people person, so I still believe in going out and meeting people. Going to the chamber breakfast, it's old school. People consider it networking. I consider it marketing. I still believe that the people connection is tried and true. And because you need people, you just have to find out where your people are and go there.
I think that's a good idea. People forget that with all this online stuff, you actually can still go out and meet person.
Yes.
Stop hiding.
I mean, I challenge.
Yeah, stop hiding in your house.
I challenge people to go. Yeah, you have to at least once a week go to somewhere in person and meet new people.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I will just share mine. My favorite old school marketing tip is send somebody you met a handwritten note to remind them of you. I
Yeah.
have personal stationery with Small Biz Lady printed on it, and I can't tell you how often I'll get a phone call or a follow-up email from somebody that got a handwritten note from me. So definitely, that is my favorite old school marketing tip. All right, next question. Share your favorite podcast. All right, Sean, I'm coming to you. Share your favorite podcast.
Oh man, is it wrong if I plug my own?
It's a little shameless, but I'll let you do it if you feel so compelled. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Persuasion by the Pint. So we talk about marketing and influence and persuasion while having beer. So
Okay.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So that's my shameless plug.
Okay, Persuasion by the Pint. All right, all right, all right. Vanessa, what's your favorite podcast?
Well, I'm kind of slow to the podcasting field, so I don't have one favorite. I do listen to a lot of my competitors like Dave Ramsey and the money people, and then I may peeking on one person versus another. But mine is coming soon, so be on the lookout for mine.
Everybody on here is shameless, apparently. Okay, all right.
Yeah, yes.
Kim, what is your favorite podcast?
Well, I am shameless too, but I'm going to start with the one I really, really love the most, and that's Philosopher's Notes with Brian Johnson. Absolutely love Brian Johnson's work. It's very, very great to listen to in the car. And if you're done listening to Brian Johnson, tune in to Master Your Story, because we've got our podcast out there too.
I love it. I love it. And so I would be remiss if I wasn't shameless too. So the Small Biz Chat podcast is here, ladies and gentlemen. We launched it this month. We've got 10 exciting episodes out there for you to listen to right now. Please go and subscribe. And I'm having a contest. I'm giving away free stuff once a week. I'm picking one of my lucky fans. If you subscribe, take a screencast, tag me on Instagram or Twitter, and I will give you a gift. I promise I will. So do that for me, okay? All right, you guys, last question here. What is the best business book you've ever read? What's your most impactful business book? Kim, I'm coming to you first. You look like you have an answer.
My first, Think and Grow Rich is definitely the one I like the most, Think and Grow Rich, and then followed really closely there with Angela Duckworth's Grit.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. Vanessa, what's your favorite business book?
I think my newest one, I have so many besides yours, Melinda. Look, I like your new one, How to Fix Your Business, because a lot of people need help. But my newer favorite one is The One Thing by Gary Keller. Businesses, we're all so busy, and we do need to focus. And that actually helped me get my book out finally this summer.
Okay, all right. And Sean, what's your favorite business book?
Yes, my favorite business book by far is Shoe Dog, which is the story of Nike. Great, well written, just great story. Really shows the ups and downs. It's got a little bit of everything. If you're in business, like, you'll just relate to a lot of stuff, and then you'll also be able to dream at the same time, because who doesn't want to be Nike, right? I mean,
right.
So Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is my favorite.
I love it. Well, listen, thank you guys so much for being on Small Biz Chat Live with me tonight. I cannot thank you enough. Vanessa Lindley, Sean McCool, Kim Plyler, thank you guys so much. And don't forget to head over to succeedasyourownboss.com for more information on tonight's guest and information to take your business to the next level. I thank you all for watching Small Biz Chat Live. The mission of Small Biz Chat is to end small business failure while helping you succeed as your own boss. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. Until next time, remember this: you never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. Good night, everybody.